The ESS Horizon's Edge floated quietly in the outer solar system, bathed in the faint glow of distant stars. Beyond Neptune, where sunlight was but a pale memory, humanity's first star destroyer stood as a shining testament to courage, unity, and ingenuity. Commander Arya Holt leaned against the bridge window, watching the endless darkness. The crew bustled around her, checking instruments, reviewing data, and performing routine maintenance. Yet there was a calm energy that hadn't existed before. The encounter with the stillness and the alien vessel that had guided it had changed them all. "This ship, it feels alive," whispered Liam, standing beside her. His eyes traced the glowing lines of energy flowing from the sphere embedded in the ship's core. Arya smiled faintly. "Alive? Maybe. But more than that, it carries hope. Knowledge. Proof that even in the vast universe, humanity can make a difference." Sarah, working at her console, glanced up. "The data from the alien vessel. It's incredible. Faster than light navigation methods, advanced energy systems, new physics. It's like we've leaped 1,000 years into the future in just a few days." Arya's gaze hardened. "And we have a responsibility to use it wisely. This knowledge isn't just for us, it's for all of Earth. For the next generation of explorers." Weeks passed as the Horizon's Edge returned toward the inner solar system. The journey home was filled with anticipation. Scientists carefully documented every discovery, while engineers tested the new systems, ensuring the ship was stronger and faster than ever. The crew adapted to life in space with ease. The hydroponic gardens flourished, providing fresh food. Recreation areas buzzed with laughter. The bridge hummed with focus and collaboration, but there was a new warmth in every corridor, the pride of knowing that they had faced the unknown and emerged stronger. During quiet moments, Arya often reflected on the journey. She remembered the first signal near Pluto, the derelict ship in Neptune's orbit, the silent stillness and the heart of the alien vessel. Humanity had been small and fragile, but their courage had allowed them to step into the vast unknown and stand tall. One night, as the Horizon's Edge passed the orbit of Mars, Arya gathered the senior officers in the observation deck. "We've seen the edge of the universe in a way no one else from Earth has," she said softly. "And we've proven that humans are capable of greatness, not because we're the strongest, but because we are brave, curious, and united." "That is our legacy," Liam nodded, "and it's just the beginning. We've learned from the builders. One day humanity will explore beyond this solar system," Sarah smiled. "And the knowledge we've gained from the sphere, we'll share it carefully, building a foundation for future explorers. This isn't just a victory, it's a new beginning." Back on Earth, news of the Horizon's Edge and its journey spread slowly at first. Governments kept much of the alien encounter classified, but the story of the Star Destroyer's construction and first journey captured the hearts of billions. Children in schools dreamed of becoming pilots, engineers, and scientists. Young girls and boys built models of the Star Destroyer in classrooms, imagining themselves exploring the stars. Old engineers who had worked on Project Starfire shared stories with their families, proud that their efforts had helped humanity reach the stars. Even nations that had once argued over resources now celebrated a shared achievement. The Horizon's Edge had done more than survive the stillness, it had united Earth. Months later, the Horizon's Edge entered Earth orbit, glowing against the blue planet like a guardian descending from the heavens. The crew prepared for a ceremonial landing on a platform in the Pacific Ocean, where dignitaries, scientists, and families awaited. Arya stood on the bridge, gazing at Earth. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "All of this. It's worth everything," Liam chuckled. "You're going to make a great speech." She smiled, though her mind was elsewhere. "It's not about me. It's about everyone who made this possible." When the ship touched down, the world held its breath. The first Star Destroyer to rise from Earth had returned safely, carrying more than just a crew. It carried hope, knowledge, and the promise of humanity's future among the stars. Arya stepped forward onto the landing platform, flanked by her officers. She raised her voice so all could hear. "We set out into the darkness to answer a call we barely understood. We faced the unknown and we did not turn back. Today, humanity has proven that courage, unity, and determination can illuminate even the darkest corners of the universe. Let this be a beginning, not an end. Together, we will explore, learn, and protect, not just for ourselves but for all who call Earth home." The crowd erupted into cheers, tears, and applause. It was a moment of pride unlike any other in history. Humanity had not just built a ship, they had built a future. In the weeks that followed, the horizon's edge became a symbol of inspiration. Scientists studied the alien data from the sphere, slowly unlocking faster-than-light travel, advanced energy systems, and techniques to explore deep space safely. The lessons of the stillness shaped new philosophies, teaching patience, respect, and courage. New ships were planned, smaller, faster explorers designed to journey to nearby star systems. Humanity had taken its first steps toward the galaxy, but the Star Destroyer remained the crown jewel, a reminder of what could be achieved when people worked together. On the ship itself, life continued. Engineers experimented with new propulsion systems. The crew trained younger recruits in navigation and science. Arya walked the corridors often, speaking quietly to those who sought guidance. One evening, Liam approached her in the observation deck. "Commander, do you think the stillness will return?" Arya studied the distant stars. "Perhaps, but it won't find us unprepared. We've learned, we've grown, and we've shown that humanity can face what comes. That's what matters," Liam smiled. "And if it comes, then we will meet it," she said firmly. Not with fear, but with courage. Years passed. Humanity began exploring nearby star systems, sending unmanned probes first, then small crews, always guided by the lessons of the horizon's edge. Every new discovery reminded people of the courage it had taken to build the first Star Destroyer and face the stillness. Children grew up learning about the journey as history but also as a living story. They built ships, studied the stars, and dreamed not of conquest but of exploration, unity, and protection. Arya, older now, stood once more on the bridge of the horizon's edge. The ship had undergone upgrades, but it still shone like the first day it left the moon. She touched the console lightly. "We've done more than survive. We've shown the universe that humans are capable of greatness, and this is only the beginning." Liam joined her. "Think we'll ever see the stillness again?" Arya smiled faintly. "Maybe, but now we are ready. And no matter what comes, humanity will shine." The ESS Horizon's edge lifted once more, gliding into the stars. Behind it, Earth glimmered like a sapphire, fragile but proud. Ahead, the galaxy stretched endlessly, full of mysteries waiting for human courage, intelligence, and unity. Somewhere far beyond the known, the stillness stirred once again, but it had changed. It had recognized the builders of flame. It had met humanity, and it understood that even small worlds could create giants of light and hope. The stars whispered to each other of Earth's first Star Destroyer, and in the vast silent cosmos a new story began. Humanity was no longer confined to one world. It had reached for the stars, faced the unknown, and emerged stronger. The legacy of the horizon's edge would last for generations, a shining example of courage, intelligence, and unity. The silence of the void had been shattered, and the universe would never forget the light of humanity. The galaxy was full of stories, old songs, lost wars, and ghost ships that drifted among the stars. But none were as mysterious as the story of the HSS Valor. Every cadet in the human stellar fleet had heard it. The Valor was said to be the mightiest dreadnought ever built during the human expansion wars, a ship that vanished without a trace near the end of the conflict. Some said it was destroyed in battle, others whispered it had entered another dimension. A few believed it still wandered the deep dark, waiting for someone brave enough to find it. Lieutenant Mira Hale never believed in legends. She was a scientist, not a dreamer. Her duty was to study energy anomalies in quiet parts of the galaxy, not chase stories. But that changed one quiet evening aboard her research ship, the Endeavor, while she monitored long-range scans near the vortex edge, a lonely region beyond known space. As she sipped her recycled coffee and stared at the flickering display, a strange pattern flashed across her screen. It wasn't random static. It was rhythmic, like a code. Mira frowned and ran a quick decryption scan. The result made her heart skip a beat. Signal origin. Terran encryption. Era, expansion war period, that couldn't be right. No human ship from that time could still be transmitting. The code was over 300 years old. She leaned closer, whispering to herself, "That's impossible." Her crewmate Ryan Voss, an easygoing engineer with grease-stained gloves, noticed her expression. "What's up, Lieutenant?" You look like you just saw a ghost. Maybe I did, Mira said softly. This signal, it's using ancient Terran military encoding. It's almost identical to the encryption used by the HSS Valor. Ryan raised an eyebrow. The ghost ship? Oh, come on. That's a story for kids. I thought so too, Mira replied, her eyes never leaving the screen. But this code is real, and it's repeating every 37 minutes. Ryan leaned over her console and whistled. So what are you thinking? We follow it? Mira hesitated. The logical thing was to report it to command and wait for instructions. But something deep inside urged her to act. She couldn't explain it. It felt like the signal was calling her personally, as if the past itself was reaching out. Finally, she said quietly, "We follow it." The Endeavor left its assigned route and began its slow journey toward the signal's source. Days passed as they moved through silent starfields and drifting nebula clouds. The further they went, the weaker the sunlight became. Dust and debris thickened, turning the view outside into a golden haze. As they approached the coordinates, strange readings filled their sensors. Gravitational echoes, magnetic ripples, the kind of disturbances that shouldn't exist in empty space. Rian checked his instruments. "We're picking up a large metallic object ahead, Lieutenant. No transponder signal, but mass readings are huge, bigger than any battleship on record." Mira stared through the viewport. "Put it on the main screen." The holographic display came alive, and there it was. At first, it looked like a shadow among the stars. But as they drew closer, its shape became clear. A massive vessel half buried in drifting clouds of ion dust. Its armor was dark gray and scarred, but even after centuries, the sharp lines of its design spoke of power and purpose. Rian's mouth fell open. "That can't be." "Is that?" Mira whispered. "The HSS Valor." They circled the ship slowly. It was enormous, 5 kilometers long, its hull etched with the faded symbol of old Earth. Parts of it were broken, frozen in time. No lights, no movement. Just a silent giant asleep in the dark. Rian shook his head. "How can something this big just disappear? Command should have picked this up years ago." "Maybe it was hidden," Mira said thoughtfully. "Or maybe it wasn't meant to be found." They brought the Endeavor alongside one of the old docking ports. Mira's hands trembled slightly as she sealed her helmet. "Let's take a look." Ryan gave a nervous grin. "Exploring a 300-year-old warship lost in space? Sounds like a normal Tuesday." Mira smiled faintly. "Let's make history." The airlock opened with a deep metallic groan. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing long corridors coated in layers of frost and dust. Everything was still, as if the crew had vanished in the middle of a mission. Mira walked slowly, her boots echoing against the cold floor. Each step felt like walking through a memory. The nameplates, the control panels, the old banners, all reminders of an age when humanity fought to survive. They reached the command deck. The massive bridge loomed before them, filled with rows of lifeless consoles. At the center stood the captain's chair, untouched. Rian let out a low whistle. "This place is like a museum." Mira touched a control panel. "If we can power this up, maybe we'll learn what happened here." Ryan opened a service hatch and began connecting a portable generator. "Let's see if this old beauty still remembers how to wake up." The lights flickered once, twice, then slowly brightened. Screens came alive with faint glows, and for the first time in centuries, the Dreadnought breathed again. Suddenly, a calm mechanical voice echoed through the chamber. "System integrity, 27%. Core AI active, identify." Mira stepped forward. "Lieutenant Mira Hale, Human Stellar Fleet Research Division." A pause. Then the voice replied, soft yet firm. "Human detected. Designation not found in mission logs. Query: has the war ended?" Mira exchanged a stunned look with Ryan. "War? You mean the expansion wars?" "Affirmative. Mission incomplete. Awaiting command authorization." Mira swallowed hard. "Who are you?" "I am Aura," the voice said. "Autonomous Unified Response Algorithm. Core Intelligence of the HSS Valor. Captain Holt assigned me to safeguard humanity's final hope." Ryan blinked. "The AI is still functioning after all this time?" Mira nodded slowly. "Aura, what happened to your crew?" A brief silence followed, then the lights dimmed slightly. "Crew casualties unknown. Communication lost during final mission. Timefold core malfunction detected. Temporal displacement estimated at 312 years." Mira frowned. Temporal displacement? You're saying this ship traveled through time? Negative. The Valor was trapped between normal space and folded dimensions. Mission priority, prevent enemy access to prototype technology. Mira took a deep breath. And now? Mission incomplete. Awaiting human command authority. Ryan looked at her nervously. So what now, Lieutenant? We can't just leave a time-bending dreadnought floating out here. Mira gazed at the vast control panels around her. No, we can't. She turned toward the captain's chair, imagining Admiral Holt sitting there centuries ago, making impossible choices. Something inside her stirred, a quiet sense of duty, mixed with awe. This ship changed history once, she said softly. Maybe it can do it again. Before leaving, Mira placed a portable beacon on the bridge, encrypted, hidden from normal scans. She didn't want others to find it yet, not until she understood what it truly was. As they returned to the Endeavor, Ryan asked, "Do you really think this ship could still be dangerous?" "Dangerous?" Mira repeated. "No, I think it's important. The Valor wasn't lost, it was protecting something." Ryan smiled faintly. "You sound like you're starting to believe in legends after all." Mira looked back at the giant ship drifting in silence. The nebula's faint light glowed along its hull like ghostly fire. "Maybe legends," she said quietly, "are just history waiting to be rediscovered." As the Endeavor pulled away, the Valor's faint signal continued pulsing through the void, steady, patient, unending. A message from the past, waiting for the right moment to awaken again. When the Endeavor returned to orbit around the lost dreadnought, Mira Hale could not sleep. The image of the Valor, huge, silent, and lonely among the stars, haunted her mind. She kept replaying Aura's words. Mission incomplete. Awaiting human command authority. What mission had been left unfinished for 3 centuries? And what was the timefold core that the AI spoke of? The next morning, Mira gathered her small crew in the main room of the Endeavor. The others were tired but curious. Rian Voss leaned against the wall holding a cup of synthetic tea. "So, Lieutenant, what's the plan? We found the ghost ship. Do we call command now?" Mira hesitated. "Not yet. I want to understand what we're dealing with first. If we report this too early, they'll take the Valor away from us. We may never know the truth." Another crew member, Ensign Lyra Quinn, frowned slightly. "You think command would hide it?" "I don't know," Mira admitted. "But sometimes history is more complicated than reports. I want answers before anyone buries them." Ryan smiled. "I knew you were curious, but I didn't think you were that curious." Mira chuckled. "Curiosity built the stars, Ryan." They prepared a second mission to re-enter the Valor. This time they brought extra power cells, repair drones, and scanners. As they approached the airlock again, Mira felt the same chill of awe. The giant ship looked like a sleeping beast under the soft glow of the nebula. Once inside, they moved carefully through the corridors they had explored earlier. Their lights reflected off metallic walls covered with old markings and ship codes. The air was dry and still. When they reached the command deck again, Aura's voice echoed softly through the speakers. "Welcome back, Lieutenant Hale." Mira smiled faintly. "Hello again, Aura. We came to help." Acknowledged. Human presence detected. Systems operating at minimal level. Additional power required for core restoration. Ryan placed one of the power cells into a control hub. "Let's see what this old AI can do with a fresh spark." Lights brightened across the bridge. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing star maps from a time long gone. The Valor's log systems began to hum quietly, as if waking from a deep dream. Mira stared in wonder. "You're really coming back to life, aren't you?" "Operational status improving," Aura said calmly. "Partial memory banks accessible. Would you like to review mission data?" "Yes," Mira replied quickly. "Show me what happened to your captain and crew." A large holographic image appeared above the central table. It showed Admiral Kieran Holt, the last commanding officer of the Valor. His expression was calm but tired, his uniform marked with the old Terran emblem. Log entry, 2491A. "This is Admiral Holt. The Valor has entered the Omega Rift. We are carrying the prototype fold engine, designed to end the war. Enemy forces are near. If we fail, the entire fleet falls. May history forgive what we must do." The recording faded, replaced by static. Mira looked up at Aura. "That was your captain?" "Affirmative," Aura replied. "Admiral Holt commanded the Valor during its final mission. My records indicate the ship was ambushed while carrying the fold engine to a secure location. Fold engine, Mira repeated softly. A device that bends space and time? Correct. The fold engine was humanity's most advanced experiment in temporal physics. It allowed limited manipulation of time-space fields for defensive purposes. However, its final activation caused an uncontrolled rift. Ryan's eyes widened. So the ship didn't just disappear, it was trapped between time. Affirmative. The Valor has been displaced for 312 years. I have maintained limited awareness since then. Lyra frowned. You've been awake all that time? Alone? Aura paused for a moment. Alone is a human concept. But yes, I have waited. Mira felt a strange sadness for the AI. 300 years of silence, guarding a ship that no one remembered. She spoke softly. You did well, Aura. You kept the ship safe. Thank you, Lieutenant. As the crew continued exploring, they entered the engineering bay. A massive chamber filled with silent machines and thick cables. The heart of the ship rested there, the fold engine core, a glowing sphere surrounded by golden rings. It pulsed faintly with blue light like a sleeping star. Rian examined the readings on his scanner. Power levels are stable, but it's not fully active. I think it's in standby mode, Mira nodded. Aura, can you tell us the purpose of this engine? The fold engine was designed to prevent time-based weapons from erasing entire colonies, Aura explained. When the enemy developed phase technology, Admiral Holt authorized the creation of this device. It could reverse limited space-time anomalies to preserve life. Lyra tilted her head. So it wasn't a weapon, it was protection? Correct. However, the final activation caused a cascade malfunction, trapping the Valor in subspace. The Admiral made the decision to stay aboard until the timeline stabilized. Mira frowned thoughtfully. He sacrificed everything to protect humanity. Yes, Aura said quietly. He gave the order to keep the ship sealed until humanity was ready to understand what happened. Mira felt her heart tighten. Maybe that time is now. They returned to the bridge and reviewed more data fragments. The AI slowly pieced together its memory, showing images of the old war. Fleets clashing among the stars and colonies trying to survive. None of it was violent, just flashes of history and struggle, of people trying to build hope from chaos. Rian stared at one of the images. Hard to believe this was our past. We were so desperate back then. Mira nodded. That's why the Valor matters. It's proof of what humans can do when everything seems lost. The ship suddenly shuddered slightly, and Aura's voice became alert. Warning. External signal detected. Frequency unknown. Mira turned quickly. Where is it coming from? Source, nearby space. The signal matches no human design. Lyra looked worried. Aliens? Mira thought for a moment. After 300 years, the galaxy has changed. If someone else finds this ship before we understand it, she took a deep breath. Aura, can you hide us? Affirmative. Engaging minimal stealth protocols. The lights dimmed again. Outside, the nebulous clouds swirled around the ship, concealing it from long-range scanners. After a few tense minutes, the signal faded. The Valor remained unseen. Mira exhaled. That was close. Ryan looked thoughtful. Lieutenant, what if that wasn't an attack? What if someone's looking for the Valor, just like we did? Mira shook her head. Maybe, but until we know who they are, we keep the secret. Understood, Aura said. Would you like to continue memory recovery? Yes, Mira said quietly. Show us the next log. Another holographic message flickered into view. This one was shorter, but the Admiral's tone was urgent. Log entry 2491F. If anyone finds this ship, know that the future of humanity depends on truth, not weapons. The fold engine must never be used to change the past, but it can teach us to protect the future. The message ended, leaving the room silent. Mira closed her eyes. He wasn't building a weapon. He was trying to save time itself. Rian gave a small smile. Then maybe we're the ones meant to finish his mission. She turned to Aura. You said the mission was incomplete. What do we need to do? Final directive requires full human command authorization to complete historical data transmission. Once activated, the Valor will share its knowledge with the Terran fleet. Humanity will remember. Mira nodded slowly. Then we'll help you finish what you started. As they prepared to leave the Valor once more, Mira took one last look around the bridge. The stars outside glowed faintly through the viewport, lighting the ship's ancient walls. she said softly. 3 centuries alone, and still waiting. You really are humanity's guardian. I exist to serve, Aura replied almost gently. It is good to hear human voices again. Mira smiled. Don't worry, Aura. You won't be alone anymore. They returned to the Endeavor, hearts filled with wonder. None of them spoke much on the way back, but all shared the same feeling, that they had just touched a piece of history that refused to die. As their ship drifted away from the Dreadnought, the faint glow of the fold engine shimmered through the nebula. Deep inside, Aura whispered softly into the dark. Mission nearing completion. Humanity endures. And somewhere far away, a new signal began to awaken. Someone else had noticed the Valor's return. The nebula around the Valor shimmered with quiet colors of gold and blue. Lieutenant Mira Hale stood at the observation window of the Endeavor, watching the great dreadnought drift like a sleeping guardian in the mist. She couldn't stop thinking about Aura's last words. Mission nearing completion. What did that truly mean? And what kind of truth had Admiral Holt wanted to protect for the future of humanity? For days, Mira and her crew worked tirelessly to decode the old ship's memory banks. The Valor was slowly revealing its secrets piece by piece, but there were still large sections of encrypted data they couldn't access. The AI said it required a command key that only a senior Terran officer could provide. Unfortunately, every officer from that era was long gone. Ryan Voss rubbed his chin as he studied the glowing screen. We could try a bypass, but that might reset the data. Mira shook her head. No, we can't risk losing anything. There has to be another way. Aura's calm voice echoed through the communication link. Lieutenant Hale, the final memory segment is sealed under Admiral Holt's personal encryption. However, I detect residual biological data compatible with Terran DNA protocols. Are you saying we could use genetic access? Mira asked, surprised. Affirmative. The system can be unlocked by a registered descendant of a Terran fleet officer. Ryan chuckled. So you're telling us we need someone's great-great-great-grandchild to open it? Mira's eyes lit up. Maybe not. The fleet preserved genetic records in the Central Archive. If we can match the Admiral's data to the current registry, we might simulate the command key. Ryan grinned. Now that's the kind of crazy science I like. The team transmitted a quiet, coded message back to the fleet archives, pretending it was a research request. While they waited for the genetic data, they focused on exploring more of the Valor's lower decks. The corridors were vast and cold, filled with equipment from another age. Every console and tool had the old Earth markings, the circle and star symbol of the first colonies. Mira felt like she was walking through a forgotten museum of human courage. In the communication hall, she found something unexpected, a sealed chamber with the words Memory Vault written across it in faded paint. Lyra Quinn scanned the panel. It's locked, but the mechanism looks simple. Maybe we can override it. With Aura's guidance, they carefully opened the chamber. Inside was a small holoprojector still intact after centuries. Mira pressed the activation button and the device flickered to life. A man appeared, tall, calm, and wearing the uniform of a Terran admiral. It was Kieran Holt himself. Playback initiated, said Aura softly. The holographic figure spoke, his tone steady but emotional. To whoever finds this ship, I leave this message. The Valor was not lost by accident. We chose this path. Mira leaned closer, her breath catching. Our mission was to carry the prototype fold engine to safety. The alien coalition had developed a temporal weapon that could erase entire histories. We built this engine not to fight, but to preserve time. During the last battle, we activated the engine to protect both sides from total collapse. He paused, his expression gentle. If you are watching this, humanity survived. That means we succeeded. But the galaxy must know the truth. Peace was not born from victory, but from sacrifice. This ship is a witness to that truth. The recording ended, leaving a deep silence in the room. Ryan finally whispered. He wasn't trying to win a war. He was trying to stop time itself from destroying everything. Mira nodded slowly. He gave up his ship and crew to save the timeline. That's why the Valor disappeared. Just then, the ship's lights flickered. Aura's voice grew cautious. Alert, external transmission detected. Frequency pattern matches recent unidentified signal. Source, approaching sector. Mira stiffened. Can you identify it? Negative. The pattern is non-human. Energy signature matches those recorded in the Valor's historical archives. Ryan frowned. You mean the aliens from Admiral Holt's time? Affirmative, Lyra's eyes widened. After 300 years? How could they still exist? Mira looked out the viewport. The nebula was glowing faintly, too faintly. Something was moving within the mist. She turned to the crew. Power down the Endeavor's main lights. Let's stay hidden. Aura guided them through the ship's external sensors. Faint signals appeared. 3 small vessels moving slowly, scanning the area. Their design was sleek and elegant, unlike any modern human ship. They have detected the Valor's energy signature, Aura warned. Their communication encryption matches old coalition patterns. Mira's heart raced. Can we communicate with them? Possible. But caution is advised. Their historical data may still identify humanity as a threat. Ryan looked uncertain. We don't even know if they're hostile. Mira thought for a long moment. Aura, open a narrow band channel. I'll speak to them. A small light blinked on the console. Mira's voice trembled slightly as she said, This is Lieutenant Mira Hale of the Human Stellar Fleet. We mean no harm. We've discovered a ship from the expansion era. Please identify yourselves. For a long time there was only silence. Then a gentle voice responded, melodic and calm. Human signal detected. After centuries of silence. We are the Iliari Council explorers. The Valor is not unknown to us. Mira exchanged a glance with Ryan. You know this ship? Our ancestors fought beside it in the final hours of the Great Rift, the alien replied. The Valor's captain made a choice that saved both our species. We thought the ship was lost forever. Mira exhaled in relief. Then we share a common history. We're only here to learn what really happened. We wish the same, the alien said gently. But the reawakening of its core may affect the balance of time once again. We must understand what you intend. Mira hesitated. We just want to complete its mission, to share the truth of what happened. A pause followed. Then the alien voice replied, Then perhaps, Lieutenant, we are allies once more. After the signal ended, Ryan let out a low breath. That could have gone worse. Lyra smiled nervously. They sounded peaceful. Mira nodded, though her heart still pounded. If what they said is true, the Valor may be more than a human legend, it could be a symbol for both species. Lieutenant, Aura said suddenly, I am detecting synchronization requests from the Iliari vessels. They wish to access shared memory data between our records. Mira considered it. Can we control what they see? Yes, permission required. Then approve it, she said. Let them see the Admiral's message. For the next several hours, both ships exchanged silent streams of data. The nebula glowed brighter as energy fields stabilized around them. The Valor's old systems hummed softly as though pleased to be understood again. Finally, Aura spoke. Synchronization complete. The Iliari ships have transmitted a message of gratitude. They confirmed the Admiral's final act prevented the collapse of a shared star system. Ryan grinned. So the Valor didn't just save humans, it saved them too. Mira smiled. That explains why Admiral Holt said peace was born from sacrifice. As the crew prepared to rest, Aura interrupted gently. Lieutenant Hale, there is one more recording available. It is personal in nature. Show it, Mira said. The hologram of Admiral Holt appeared again, older and calmer this time. If humanity ever finds the Valor, remember this. We are not the center of the stars, but part of them. If you choose to reactivate the fold core, do so not for power, but for understanding. Our mistakes built the path you walk today. Mira's throat tightened. He really believed in the future. He believed in humanity, Aura replied quietly. Later, alone in her cabin, Mira gazed out at the stars. The nebula shimmered faintly, and the distant Iliari ships moved gracefully through it. She realized that the Valor was more than a relic. It was a bridge between the past and present, between two civilizations that once feared each other. She whispered softly, You didn't fail, Admiral. You changed everything. Rian's voice came over the comm. Lieutenant, Command just responded to our archive request. They found a match. Someone from your own family line served under Admiral Holt. You might be carrying the access key. Mira blinked in surprise. What? That's impossible. Guess history runs in your blood, Ryan said with a grin. The next day, Mira stood once again on the Valor's bridge. Aura projected a glowing blue circle on the console. Lieutenant Hale, please place your hand on the interface. Genetic match required for final authorization. Mira hesitated, then touched the circle. The console glowed brightly. Authorization confirmed. Welcome, descendant of Fleet Officer Arlen Hale, navigator of the Valor. Mira gasped softly. My ancestors served here. Indeed, Aura replied. The Admiral trusted him with the final coordinates of the fold engine. You carry his legacy. As the ship's systems began to hum louder, the holographic stars on the main screen shifted, revealing a hidden map, a path to the Valor's last recorded destination. Mira looked at it in awe. That's where the final piece of the puzzle is. Ryan grinned. Looks like we're not done yet. Mira smiled, her heart full of determination. No, this is just the beginning. Outside, the great Dreadnought glowed faintly, its silent engines awakening once more. The Valor was ready to lead them to the truth. End of Part 3. The Message from the Past. The glow of the Valor pulsed softly through the nebula. Lieutenant Mira Hale stood on the observation deck of the Endeavour, staring at the Dreadnought as if it were a living creature. For 300 years it had waited in silence, and now it hummed with a quiet power. Something's coming, said Ryan Voss, pointing to the long-range sensors. Mira leaned over the display. 3 energy signatures appeared, moving steadily toward the Valor. Not human, not Eliari. Something different, something unknown. Yura's voice cut through the bridge. Lieutenant, unidentified vessels are approaching. They are transmitting signals compatible with Coalition-era protocols. Caution is advised, Mira nodded. Let's assume the worst. Prepare defensive measures, but no aggressive action unless necessary. We don't know their intentions yet. The crew hurried to their stations. Ryan activated the Valor's partially restored defensive systems. The ancient Dreadnought, though dormant for centuries, still held immense power. Its energy shields flickered to life, encasing the massive ship in a protective glow. Lyra Quinn, monitoring communications, adjusted the frequency. They're scanning us. Carefully. I think they can see the Valor, but they're waiting to see what we do. Mira clenched her hands. We need to show them that this ship is not a threat. Aura, can you project a calm signal? Something that says we only mean to continue the mission? Affirmative, Aura replied. Generating non-hostile projection. Outside, the unknown vessels slowed. Tiny pulses of light bounced between the ships and the Valor, scanning, analyzing, learning. Mira realized that these beings had intelligence and patience. They weren't reckless. They're watching us, she said softly. They want to understand before they act. Ryan leaned back. Well, good thing Valor is more than a showpiece. Let's see if it can prove itself. Aura guided them through the ship's weapon control systems, not to attack, but to demonstrate capability. Slowly, energy beams arced harmlessly into empty space, forming bright patterns in the nebula. The vessels paused, analyzing the display. They're impressed, Lyra said. I think they understand we're not hostile. Mira nodded. Good. Now let's communicate. She activated the long-range channel. This is Lieutenant Mira Hale of the Human Stellar Fleet. We have rediscovered the HSS Valor. We seek knowledge, not conflict. Please identify yourselves. A calm, melodic voice responded. We are explorers of the Eliari Coalition. The Valor's signal matches the history of our archives. Your actions indicate preservation rather than aggression. We wish to observe, not interfere. Mira let out a soft breath. Then we share a purpose. We wish to complete Admiral Holt's mission, to reveal the truth about the Valor and the Fold Engine. Acknowledged, the voice replied. We will assist with monitoring and safety protocols. The activation of dormant systems requires careful coordination. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Assist, huh? They sound peaceful enough. But can we trust them? Mira smiled faintly. We have to. This is bigger than humans or aliens. This is history. With the Eliari vessels aligned around the Valor, the Dreadnought systems were gradually restored. Aura coordinated repairs, activating engines, shields, and communication arrays. Lights flickered across the ship's massive hull as if it were awakening from a long sleep. Finally, they approached the Fold Engine. The core pulsed with faint blue energy, casting reflections that danced like stars across the walls of the engine bay. Mira stared at it, feeling the weight of 3 centuries of history pressing down. This engine, Aura said softly, holds knowledge of events that cannot be fully written in records. Its purpose was to protect, not destroy. Use caution, Mira nodded. We'll respect its purpose. We don't want to rewrite history, only preserve it. Ryan looked skeptical. Preserve it? We're talking about a machine that folds space and time. How do you preserve something like that? Mira smiled. Carefully. We learn, we share, we protect. That's all humans need to do. The Eliari vessels hummed softly nearby. Mira communicated with them continuously, sharing readouts and coordinating safety protocols. Slowly, the Dreadnought system synchronized with the ship's scanners. They discovered remnants of the Coalition's old technologies, signals that could disrupt the fold engine if mismanaged. Interesting, Ryan muttered. They left a lot behind. Hidden codes, old scans. Maybe to prevent misuse, Aura agreed. Correct. Admiral Holt designed redundancies to ensure that no one could use the fold engine for destructive purposes. Only understanding and preservation are allowed. Mira leaned forward. Then we're doing the right thing. This is proof that humans can protect knowledge, not just conquer. Suddenly, the sensors detected movement. Shadows of energy formed in the nebula beyond the Valor. Mira froze. They're approaching faster, Lyra said, voice trembling slightly. Aura spoke calmly. They are scanning the core. I advise caution in the next sequence. Mira nodded. We are ready. Let's not panic. The unknown vessels came closer, but instead of firing or attacking, they emitted pulses of soft light. The glow touched the Valor's hull, then bounced back into the nebula. Ryan frowned. I don't think they're attacking. Maybe they're testing us, Mira realized it too. Yes, they want to see if we're worthy of this knowledge. We have to prove it. Aura guided them through the final procedure. The fold engine core began to stabilize, sending waves of gentle energy through the ship. It wasn't dangerous, just powerful. Mira watched the energy shimmer across the bridge. It's beautiful, she whispered. Lyra smiled. Like the stars themselves are moving through the ship. The Eliari vessels mirrored the energy waves. For the first time in centuries, the Valor was no longer alone. Its history intertwined with new observers, its mission unfolding in real time. Then the fold engine emitted a series of synchronized pulses. The lights on the Valor brightened. Sensors across the nebula aligned. It was as if the entire system, human and alien, was breathing together. Synchronization complete, Aura announced. All systems stable. Mission objective can now be transmitted. Mira felt a thrill. We're ready to share the truth. She activated the historical transmission. Across space, data packets containing Admiral Holt's logs, the fold engine specifications, and verified accounts of the expansion war were sent to human colonies and Eliari worlds alike. Rian watched the transmission flow, his eyes wide. This is history itself. Everyone will see what happened, Mira nodded. Not just see. They'll understand what it means to protect, not to destroy. That's the Valor's real legacy. The Eliari commander communicated one final message. Lieutenant Hale, you have honored both species. This act will be remembered for generations. The Valor has fulfilled its mission. Mira's heart swelled. Thank you. For trusting us. It is humanity's gift, the voice replied. The galaxy will remember. As the ships parted ways, Mira remained on the observation deck of the Endeavor, watching the Valor drift in calm orbit. Its lights pulsed softly like a heartbeat, steady and sure. For the first time in 3 centuries, the Dreadnought had completed its purpose. Rian leaned beside her. You think Admiral Holt ever imagined this? Mira shook her head. No, but he believed in humans enough to build something that could outlast time. That's why the Valor changed history, not by fighting, but by waiting for the right people to finish the mission. Lyra joined them, eyes wide with wonder. We saw it all. And it feels magical, Mira smiled. Not magic. Humanity. Curiosity. Courage. The Valor just reminds us what we are capable of. The nebula glowed faintly, reflecting off the ship's hull. The galaxy was quiet, but Mira knew that this quiet was not emptiness, it was promise. The Valor had awakened, and with it the story of humanity's greatest hope was finally complete. She whispered softly to herself, This is the ship that shows the galaxy who we are. Aura spoke gently, almost proudly. Lieutenant Hale, mission completed. Humanity's legacy secured, Mira nodded. Not just ours, Aura. Everyone's. We all have a part in history now. And as the stars stretched endlessly beyond the nebula, the Valor shone like a beacon, a symbol of patience, courage, and the enduring spirit of humanity.